welcome to Bonita's Kitchen, and thank you for joining us. What I'm going to be making for you today is a delicious batch of lemon crumbles. And for those of you that's going to be joining me today making these delicious lemon crumbles, I hope that you got all your ingredients ready, and if you haven't, just pause this for a few minutes and then we'll get started. So what I'm going to start with first is making the crumble part of our lemon crumbles. Okay, so what we're going to start with first, in a large bowl, 2 cups of white flour. And then we're going to put 2 cups of coconut, unsweetened, 3/4 of a cup of white sugar. Now if you want to substitute these, that's fine. And a teaspoonful of baking powder. This is what I'm using in it, but if you want to use the wheat flour, the cane sugar, or sweetened coconut, that's fine, but this is the ingredients that we are using in this today. So just lightly mix that around and then pour in 1 cup of melted butter. It could be at room temperature after you melt it, or it could be just a little warm but not hot, and mix that through. So mix it around until all of it's incorporated. If you're using a food processor, we don't want it into a ball, we want it crumbled, so just pulse your food processor and just have it pretty much looking like this here. Now what we're going to do is set this to the side, and now we're going to make the filling. So what we're going to do next is our filling part of the lemon crumbles. We'll need 1/2 cup of lemon juice, a 300 ml can of the sweetened condensed milk, and just a teaspoonful or less of your lemon zest. That's optional if you don't want to use it. But what we'll do is pour the full can of the condensed milk into a bowl. Okay, so this air is pretty thick, so I mean you can set it into warm water, the can, and that will loosen it up a little bit, or you can use a spatula and just go in and pull out the remaining of the condensed milk. And it doesn't have to be any particular brand, just as long as the sweetened condensed milk. So what we'll do next is put the 1/2 cup of the lemon juice down on top of that, and we'll put the lemon zest. Okay, so just take another spatula and just mix this around until all of it is incorporated. I'm just going to move this one away for a moment and just mix it all around until everything is blended through nicely. And it won't be what you would call thick, it'll just be just nice where it'll just pour out evenly over your crumbles. So mix it until it's all incorporated. So pretty much that's all you got to do there. This is a nice tart mixture. The condensed milk gives it a little sweetness, but if you just take a little bit, put on your finger, taste it. You know, it don't pull your jaws together, but it's really nice. Okay, so I'm going to put this to the side. I'm going to get a square pan, and I'll show you what you would need next. Okay, so next what we're going to be needing to make our lemon crumbles is a square pan, and you could use a glass one, a silicone one, a tin one, it doesn't matter. Because the glory in this, I always like to use a piece of parchment paper, and this way after they're baked you can just take the parchment paper, pull it out of the container, lodge it down on your counter, and then it's easy to cut and to take out and have it put the way you want it, instead of cutting it within the glass or the silicone. So again, as a piece of parchment paper that you're going to need now to put down into your bowl, your pan. Let it be a glass, silicone, or tin, and then I'll show you what's next. So pretty much what you're going to do then is just put your parchment paper down into your pan, pinch it around the sides just to hold it in place. But once you start putting the crumble mixture in there, it'll stay put. You're going to separate your crumbles to to two separate batches. You want one for the top and one for the bottom. So what we're going to do now is take the first half of our crumbles and put on down into the parchment paper. Now you don't need to pre-grease this parchment paper first because it won't stick to that. You'll be able to take it off of that. So just pour it out like this until it's all even. So what we're going to do next is press the bottom layer down. Have it that it's all nicely packed into the pan like this. So that's all you need to do there until it's nicely pressed down. So now you're going to reach for your filling and you're going to pour the filling all evenly over that layer. Just look how nice and creamy that is. So you just pour that out with your, or scrape it out, whichever you could do. And if you're making this along with me, like you said, if I'm going too fast, you can just pause it at any time. And the recipe is posted just in under this video. So now I'm going to smooth that out onto the first layer of crust. Okay, so just evenly pulling it into the sides and around the center. And that way it's all put in there nice and evenly. And this is what it's going to look like. That looks delicious. So I'm just going to pull this part off and just put it down. That's all you need to do there. So this is the second half of our crumbles. And what we're going to do now is pour this over the top. And what's the fun part about this part? You don't need to pack it down. This is just going over, because this is why it's called Lemon Crumbles, because this part's supposed to be crumbly. You just pour it all evenly over until it's all complete. So then just shake the remainder of the crumbles over the top. So this is pretty much all you need to do to make these delicious lemon crumbles. So now what we're going to do next, we're going to preheat our oven to 350 degrees. And we're going to put the timer on for 30 minutes. I'm saying 30 minutes. This should still come out a light color, maybe a tinge of a light golden. The bottom will be packed in and baked, it'll be a little golden. I don't want this to get brown. So half an hour, it should be plenty. Check it part ways through, turn your light on, look in. If it's still going nice, fine, but 30 minutes should be enough. Again, depending on your oven. So meet me back here when it's baked and I'll show you what it looks like. Oh my goodness, this smells absolutely delicious in here. And our lemon squares, our lemon crumbles are baked. I'm going to take them out of this tray now, lodge them on my board, my cutting board, and I'll show you what they look like. So I hope that if you're making this along with me, yours is out of the oven as well. And keep it in your pan until it's cooled, because you don't want for it to break apart. I do have one here that I made in advance that's cooled, and I had cut a little bit on it. I'm going to cut it again and show you what it looks like. And you can cut it any size you want. Little square ones or even bigger. But I'm going to show you now what that looks like. And this is so delicious. I want to make them bigger. You can make it smaller than this. But I really believe when you're having these lemon crumbles, you want to have a nice piece. So I'm going to cut them this way now. Like I said, you can make it smaller than this if you want to. But I'm going to make them a little bigger because I want for you to see what they look like. And this is what they look like when they're nice and cool. I'm going to put them in my tray. And then I'm going to have a little taste. It smells so good in here. I love when I'm baking because the whole house smells absolutely delicious. This is what they look like when they're cut. I got, like I said, a full tray here that I'm going to be cutting into later when it cools down. So if yours is out of the oven, if you're making these with me today, you want to wait because you don't want to cut them too soon because you don't want them to break apart. Now I'm going to take one of these and have a little taste. So delicious. The lemon flavor with the zest just bursts in your mouth when you bite into it. You can taste the coconut, and the coconut where it's baked, it got that nice toasted taste. I love these little lemon crumbles. I can remember these when I was a young girl. My mom used to make them at Christmas time. This is the only time we would have them, of course. But now, with a recipe like this, you can make them when you're expecting company or if you want to just do a tea party. Be absolutely delicious to have with these. So I'm going to thank everybody for joining me today, but I'm also going to thank the students that probably is making these with me today. I hope that yours is turning out as delicious as what mine is, but again, you want to wait for them to cool before you start going into them. And if you enjoyed this recipe and you'd like to see more of our traditional and non-traditional Newfoundland recipes, you want to visit me on my YouTube channel, and up at the top right hand corner is a subscribe button. Hit the link, it's free and it will prompt you to what you need to do, and each time we post a new video you will get a notification letting you know that we have. You can send me a message on my website, www.bonitaskitchen.com. Visit me on my Facebook page or send me a tweet on Twitter. So thank you for joining us once again today for this episode of Lemon Crumbles. From my kitchen to yours. You have a wonderful day.